coming on to talk about sports and more specifically MLB from CBS Sports. He covers the MLB, Danny Vietti.
Somebody's going to beat the Cleveland Browns this year. Is it going to be another opponent, or is it going to be the Cleveland Browns? That's their storyline, and the season will answer that story.
Well, my prediction preseason, because we always have to do that at ESPN, give us your predictions, make us look like idiots, was Astros and Nationals, with the Astros winning. Given the fact that both those teams still look like they're in the mix for that eventuality, I'm going to stick with that, Astros and Nationals, with Astros winning.
Play action is going to take himself around the left big hole 40, 35, 30, cuts it upfield, spin move 20, action Jackson 10, and dancing into the end zone. Touchdown Ravens. Halftime launching it down the middle of the field, called at the 20, Sammy Watkins 10, walking into the end zone, and the Chiefs are going to be going to Miami.
What's going on, Sportscaster, YouTube, and beyond? Thanks for watching this video. I'm Yosef Masinta, and I hope you're having a great day. As I welcome you into episode 6 of the Ravens vs. Browns Week 14 Deep Dive, where I'll go through every play of that game. I talk about what happened, why it happened, should it have happened, who messed up, who excelled, and a whole lot more. This was absolutely the best game of the regular season, and I think it was the best game of the playoffs as well. Playoff implications, stars making big-time plays making stars, and of course, a dramatic Hollywood ending. But before we get to the film, please check out my podcast, Sports with Yosef. It's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. That's Sports with Yosef. Check out all of my videos on Sportscaster, sportscaster.com, sportscastr.com. My username is YosefM613, as well as checking out all of my articles on Flurry Sports Tackler, Sportscaster News, and the last one, Rocky and Meisty. Whole lot of articles, a whole lot of content, and I know it's hard to keep track of it all. So I made it easy for you by creating a website, YosefM613.com, YOSEFM613.com, where you can subscribe and get email updates every time I post new content. That's YosefM613.com. And if you're on Twitter, I'd really appreciate it if you could give me a follow. Well, you guessed it, at YosefM613. So the Browns, in the middle of their second drive of the game, extended by a Jimmy Smith passing interference penalty. Was it the correct? Well, 2 passing interference penalties on the Ravens on that drive, as well as a roughing the passer penalty. Ravens are just giving up free yardage left and right. How many are right calls? Well, probably not a lot. The Browns have only gotten 8 yards without penalties on this drive, but they are marching down the field now at the Ravens 23 because of these 2 pass interferences and the roughing the passer. So with that said, let's head back. And Browns have the ball, 44 seconds to go in the first quarter in Cleveland. Like I said, ball on the Ravens 23, tied up at 7 apiece. And let's get started. As the Browns come to the line of scrimmage here, okay, so one more thing I didn't talk. We'll talk about the I formation momentarily. Mayfield bringing Donovan Peoples-Jones in motion across the field from right to left, followed by Marcus Peters. That means man coverage. Play action to Nick Chubb. Quick pass to the flat to the left through the hands of the fullback, Andy Janovich. Take a look one more time from this angle before we go to the whiteboard. I talked a little bit more about different formations, talked a little bit about in the past episodes. If you've not checked those out yet, please do so. I will not be repeating myself in most of the episodes. Every now and then I will, if it's an important point. But most of the time, I will be referencing stuff to the past. Okay. Right here. This is the I formation. We talked about what it means when the quarterback's under center, pistol, shotgun. Well, here we go. This is the I. Why? Because it looks like an I. As simple as that. You can draw an I right through these guys right there. Now, sometimes you'll have the fullback be, or sometimes it's even a second running back. Sometimes you'll have it more like over here or here. And that's called offset. You're still in the I. But we call this offset to the right or offside to the left. Strong side is, and it's based off of the strong side and weak side, depending on, strong side is where the tight end is. Weak side is where the tight end isn't. And if each side is a tight end, well, then I guess you'd say strong side is where the receiver is. So that's the eyes. So no need for the whiteboard, actually. Browns going big here. Tight end to either side, 22 personnel. Two running backs, 2 tight ends, 1 wide receiver. Ravens in their base defense. And with only 1 wide receiver, Ravens in their base defense, that means they have 2 cornerbacks on the field. So what's the second cornerback doing? Well, let's see if we can check in this view. You can. It's Marlon Humphrey. He's taking David Njoku one-on-one. It's not going to be your typical matchup because you don't normally put a cornerback on a tight end. Well, the Ravens doing it this time. Njoku is a playmaker, and the Ravens respecting that. Man coverage across the board. Ravens. How many guys are they showing here on the line at the line of scrimmage? Let's go for a different color here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they're not necessarily bringing 8 because these linebackers are a little bit more off the ball, so there's no guarantee that these guys are coming. But Ravens, earlier in the game, I believe earlier even on this drive, if not this drive, then the first drive, they did bring blitzes from these linebacker spots. So if you're Baker Mayfield, you're saying, okay, which of these 8 guys? These 8 guys are on the box. You could technically count Humphrey as 9, but not really because you don't really assume. It'd be very unlikely that Humphrey's coming in on a blitz. Just he's a little bit farther back. Which of these 8 are coming? Who's blocking who? That is the question for Baker Mayfield to figure out at the line of scrimmage. So he's going to bring receiver in motion, and let's see what this blocking scheme is. Ravens, how many did they bring? They've got 7 on the line of scrimmage, 6 on the line of scrimmage, and they bring 5. The guy who drops back, Chuck Clark, who is taking Harrison Bryant in man coverage. And Matthew Judon's going to initially come free. Nick Chubb, takes him out right there. That's just a good job by Nick Chubb. You don't often ask your running back to block, but when you do, you've got to be able to block. He has to be able to make that block, and he does on this play. Everywhere else on the line of scrimmage, well, you've seen David Njoku. He's chipping Jihad Ward right here. Look how much time that gives Jack Conklin at right tackle. Everyone else is pretty solid coverage on the line of scrimmage. So let's go to the top-down view and watch this one more time. Who's taking this guy? It's man coverage across the board. Ravens are bringing 5. So I will even do the math on screen for you. Got 11 guys on the field at all times. Minus 5 equals 6. You have 5 receivers, so that means you should have a deep safety. So what you're normally going to have is the safety and the man across the board unless they didn't account for him. Let's take a look. How many guys are playing zone? How many guys are playing zone right here? Just 1. Right here. Deshaun Elliott. Which means there's miscommunication because Andy Janovich is wide open. Look how wide open he's in space. And he actually had a block in front because he had Harrison Bryant and Chuck Clark could have blocked here, could have gone down the sideline, could have gotten the first down. He doesn't because he drops the ball. Let's take a look at that drop actually. Mayfield rolling, just quick throw. Gets this guy in the flat. So look right here. The throw's just a little bit high. Janovich goes up. He probably still should have been able to get that, but that's not a great throw by Baker Mayfield. Want a little bit better than that from your quarterback. Just watching it a couple more times. Tough play there. But look here. Let's take a look at 2 guys right here. Right to snap. Find the right place eventually. LJ Fort and Malik Harrison, they're both going towards Nick Chubb. Look where they're both looking at. There's no way you're double teaming Nick Chubb, but with 2 linebackers, you're just not doing that. So this means that one of them is meant to be taking Andy Janovich. My gut, I don't have a real way to know because it's in the eye. It'd be tough to know who, but one of them's meant to be. Maybe because neither one is blitzing. You'll see they're just watching. They're looking for Chubb. Harrison's kind of making a move, but he's just looking at Chubb. He's not looking at Mayfield. So who's meant to be taking Andy Janovich? Miscommunication by the Ravens. My gut is LJ Ford. It might be Malik Harrison. There's really no way to know. But this is not a great job by the Ravens. Defensively, miscommunication, just more miscues on this drive for the Baltimore Ravens. Let's take a look at some of the route concepts here. This is actually, if anyone here plays Madden, this is kind of a classic route concept. Again, high-low, so it can just be 1, 2, 3. And then it looks like you've got David Njoku coming across a little bit later, if you so choose. But at this point, you're going to have the ball out. It's a very quick, we talked about high-lows, 1, 2, 3. I like this route concept. It's very good coverage pretty much everywhere. You see Harrison Bryant's open. David Njoku is wide open. How did David Njoku get wide open? Well, yeah, so look how far back Marlon Humphrey is off the ball. He's saying, look, I'm just not going to get beat over the top when in the red zone. I don't love that strategy. I think Humphrey's a little bit too far back. You don't need 5 yards of space between you and your target, especially tight end. But that's what he does. Not a huge play of this. Fan of the way Humphrey played that. All right, so let's take a look at this chop block here at Chubb on Judon. This was a great block. Now I like to just spend a little bit of time appreciating it. Still in slow-mo, good. Baker Mayfield, just quick play action. Look at Chubb. What's he doing? What is a chop block? You go for the feet. And he does a pretty good job of this. This is legal. This is a legal block. I actually did some research on this play. Just to double check this. Completely legal block and a very good one. It takes Judon out of the play. Gives Mayfield the time. Now let's look at Justin Madubuike right here, working as wide Teller. He slips. We talked in the past episode. We're going to be seeing a lot of guys slipping. And he just slips again. And Madubuike, he's getting ready to go inside and cut back out. And oops, there goes the footing. Not what you would love to see from a turf. Just what was a very bad turf in this game. I wanted to watch one more thing here. This is a bad throw here from Mayfield. We established that. Let's just watch his mechanics here. Play action. I mean, Chubb's not even looking for the play action, so it's more like Mayfield's doing this just to extend a hand, and defense doesn't fool anyone. Look at his mechanics, though. He doesn't set up. He keeps on moving. He keeps on moving as he's throwing. This is just bad mechanics. Set your feet. He has a time. He has time to throw. But what he does is just say, okay. I mean, like, he just doesn't set his feet. Look at his feet right here. Feet keep on moving. He kind of sets his feet right here when he plants right there. But his body's still moving away from his target because he's still finishing that play action. He sees the guy wide open. He's doing the right thing. But he's got to set his feet there or try to keep his body moving towards his target, not away from it. And that does lead to a high throw, an incompletion. And let's watch this one more time before moving on. Mayfield in this I formation, tight formation. Peoples-Jones coming in motion, followed by Marcus Peters. Now you know it's man. Now you know that you've got a shot at the fullback being unaccounted for. Quick pass to the flat, through the too high, and I mean he had a shot. Janovich had a shot at it. Could not come down with the ball on a bad throw. One more time. Njoku in motion. Here will come Peoples-Jones in motion across the formation. Jihad Ward. He's going to be chipped here by Njoku on that right side. That's going to give Jack Conklin a nice breather for a second. As we'll head on to the next play. 2nd down and 10, Cleveland ball. All right, let's take a look here. Coming out here, empty shotgun. Nick Chubb. That's him all the way wide to the right. And just watch Harrison Bryant right there. This is a false start on Harrison Bryant. Oh, you see the flinch? Watch Harrison Bryant. Oh, that's all you need. All you need. That is a false start. That's the correct call. There's a couple notable points on this one. 12 personnel, 1 running back, 2 tight ends, base defense for the Ravens. Marlon Humphrey getting the slot on Landry. We talked about that earlier in this series, right over there. Chubb is wide to the left, and it looks like he's being covered by a linebacker. We can try to take a better look quickly. Which linebacker? Patrick Queen is... nope, not Patrick Queen. No, yeah, it's Patrick Queen. 48 right there. He's going out to take Nick Chubb. And we can just watch this false start one last time and then move on. Brian Flinch, good call by the officiating crew. The officiating crews generally do a very, very good job on false starts. I don't think they get enough credit for that. It's very tough to tell, especially live in game. Sometimes it's obvious, sometimes it's not. But the correct call on this one will put up the Browns into a 2nd down and 15. Ball now on the Ravens' 28-yard line. Not a strong drive here from the Browns. They've just been getting a lot of help from penalties. Mayfield's shotgun back to his left. 3 receivers are right, 1 to the left. 1 tight end is David Njoku. He's wide to the right. These 3 are wide receivers as Mayfield's going to take the snap, throwing deep ball right sideline. Incomplete. Marcus Peters and Jarvis Landry fighting it out. Deshaun Elliott providing a little bit of support over the top. Let's take a look here. Ravens showing 4. Justin Ellis and no Brandon Williams. Here's Derek Wolfe. No Calais Campbell. Mayfield audibling at the line. Here, just a 4-man rush. Deep ball overthrows his target, Jarvis Landry. And let's take a look at this play. Because interesting that you have David Njoku. We talked a little bit about what the slot is. Landry and Peoples-Jones really are in the slot. But you don't normally send your tight end out wide. George Kittle can do it. Mark Andrews can do it. Travis Kelce does it. A few tight ends do it. Most do not. And Njoku can do it as well, as we see right here. So Peters right here on Jarvis Landry. This looks like just man coverage across the board. So Ravens, so they do bring the blitz here from this linebacker spot. LJ Ford is going to come in. We'll take a look at the pass rush pressure momentarily. Let's take a look at what the route combo. This is an interesting route combo. I'll draw this one out. It's come back, deep ball, deep ball. So when you're gonna, if you're a quarterback, what are you looking for right here? If it's zone, let's check. All right, zone. Nope, I need to write. Just so you know what the colors code for this one is. You're gonna want one of these two. You're gonna if it's also zone, you can also like a receiver right here, because you'll have a defender here who's going to have to choose between this guy or this guy. You get like this guy here because he's going to be sitting in a soft spot. Now, if it's man coverage, well, you're going to take a look at where the safeties are. Who's the safety? It looks like it's Deshaun Elliott. He's got this area right here. Not a perfect circle, but that means that he's going to immediately drift to either right or left, and you can have a deep ball opportunity. Remember, this is 2nd down and 15. You do need to move the ball down the field just a little bit. So let's take a look which way. Elliott immediately, he's just reading Mayfield's eyes. He's going, but he started more to the left because that's where the ball was started on the left hash. And Mayfield can just put the ball right there, and it's completion. He doesn't. He's going to overthrow everyone. Let's take a look right when he throws the ball. So he's looking. No one's open initially. He sees it's one-on-one though. So it's like, okay, my guy versus your guy. Who's going to win? I'll take my chances. No one else. Ooh, I'll tell you what. Landry's not that open. This is great coverage by Peters. But Rashard Higgins is open versus Jimmy Smith. Mayfield never looked at him. He was much more open. Look, Smith still got good coverage now, but you can see Higgins start slowing up. But right here, it's a leg race. At this point, it's a leg race between Jimmy Smith and Higgins. And the issue is he's very close to the sideline. Not a lot of room to work with to not go out of bounds. It's a bad drawing. But he is definitely a little bit more open. So is Landry? Just watch Jarvis Landry and Marcus Peters here. Landry gets a little bit of contact. Now you've got until the 23-yard line to stop the contact. Oh, it's close. You probably could have maybe gone in for illegal contact downfield, but it looks like it's maybe. It's right. It looks like he stops at the 22-yard line. This ball's just overthrown. Let's take a look from Mayfield's perspective. He from this perspective, it looks like he's open. So if you've seen Landry, if I'm Baker Mayfield, I want to throw the ball right there. I want my receiver to be going out towards the sideline and forcing him to use his body to protect the ball. And that's kind of what Mayfield does. If we can see where this ball lands. The issue is he didn't really put that much air under it. I would have put just a little bit more air under this ball. I think that's what I'm actually is my final verdict here. He's not putting enough air under the ball. If you watch Russell Wilson deep ball, I'm not going to pull one up here, but if you watch Russell Wilson deep ball, he does a very good job of just putting air under the ball. I mean, just watch the angle of the throw. It's just not a very high throw from Baker Mayfield. What throwing it higher does is it gives your receiver a little bit more time. Again, and you can just angle it a little better. Now, the issue with throwing it a little bit too high is going to be the safety, right? So maybe not. But what Mayfield tries to do is throw kind of a low pass just over Peters' head, and he overthrows it. So if you're trying to throw, because of the safety, maybe you're going to say, I don't have time to throw a high ball. Okay, that's a reasonable thing to say. I still feel that if you can place the ball right there, I think Landry makes a catch. But the other thing is, okay, if I'm throwing a bullet, then you know what? I'm going to throw the ball. I'm going to throw the ball right there. Make my receiver go to the sideline. Use his body as a shield. Mayfield doesn't do that. He just tries to fit it in, and it does not work. And this is a 21-yard throw by Mayfield. But let's just watch Chuck Clark Excuse me. This is Deshaun Elliott right here. Watch how much ground he's going to cover. Again, it's a low throw. Moving. Look how fast he's running. If you take a look when he starts to sprint. Right there. Landry is here. Oh, let's draw this out. You got Landry here. Clark here. Ball going to be there. And Clark just sprints towards that ball a little bit deeper. The ball's actually going to be at like the 7 or 6 yard line. And he does a very, very good job getting and running towards that football. Okay, let's take a look at this defensive line. Ravens, Malik Harrison showing blitz. But he's not coming. The Ravens instead bring LJ Fort up the middle. That A gap. No, they're not actually. I can't tell if they are. I think he's not. No, he is. He's looking at the Mayfield, not a Chubb. So I'm going to say he is coming. Let's watch this from right to left. Judon versus Conklin. What's going to happen? Judon is going to go outside, spins in, and actually gets free. He's coming at the quarterback. Mayfield's got to rush to throw just a little bit. Justin Ellis versus a double team of Wyatt Teller and J.C. Treader. Oh, he's handled. He doesn't have much there. There. Derek Wolfe right here versus Joel Bitonio. 1-on-1. I'll be honest, Ford kind of goes right into that area. Wolf kind of gets free at the end, though, as you see right there. And then Ngakwe versus Jedrick Wills right here. Ooh, there's a hand kind of high on Ngakwe. Almost a hold right there. You see the arm hooking around. Is that a hold? Again, on referee's discretion in depth. And he gets some pressure as well. All right, let's watch this one last time. Before moving on, look at this press coverage. Peters versus Humphrey. This is where the ball's going. Press across the board, actually. Here comes a blitz by Fort. Deep ball overthrown. Ball lands right at the 7 or 6 yard line. And this will bring up a 3rd down and 15 for the Browns. A drive where the Browns have really not done much to help themselves. The Ravens have just been giving them free yardage off of I would call questionable penalties. So, right after we watch this one last time, 3rd and 15, still 37 seconds to go in this quarter. This is the last play, though, of the first quarter. Taking a while to get through this, middle of the 6th episode. We're going to finish this drive and then do the Ravens' next drive in this episode. It's tough to figure out how to break it down because there's not necessarily a clean finish. I want each episode to be not much more than an hour and not much less than an hour, but it's tough to find a good stopping point on drives. All right, Mayfield's shotgun's got Kareem Hunt to his right. 2 receivers there. Under pressure, he's going to step up. He wants to run. He's going to run. He will be pushed out of bounds at the 21-yard line. Pickup of 7. Looks like Jihad Ward was there to help take him out. Maybe Matt Judon. So you see Kareem Hunt in. You see 2 tight ends to the left. That's the strong side. Weak side would be the right on that play. Under pressure from Chris Board. And there he goes. Jihad Ward and Matthew Judon both there to push number 6 out of bounds. 12 personnel, Ravens the nickel defense. Marlon Humphrey here in the slot, this time on Jarvis Landry, and Marcus Peters going to take Rashard Higgins, who I said would beat Jimmy Smith last drive. And let's just look at this coverage here. What's a route concept? So this is a similar route concept to what the Browns ran just a play or two earlier. You're going to have a guy going to the flat, you're going to have a guy coming over here, and then someone going deep. This is the basic route concept. And this is just not going to work on this play. Ravens have this route concept covered very well. Now, right off the bat, if I'm a receiver, what you really want as a receiver here is just to cut back in. He's wide open if he cuts back in. Because look how far back Peters is. It's a good 3 or 4 yards in front of him. He doesn't, though, because he follows the route play because that's Jarvis Landry's area, so it's not an option for him to cut back in. And Ravens just have generally good coverage. Kareem Hunt somewhat open, but look at Tyus Bowser. He's in the throwing lane. So for Kareem Hunt to be open, Hunt's kind of got to go like this. And that's going to make it... It's doable, but then keep in mind you got a Marlon Humphrey right there. So if you're Baker Mayfield, not something you generally like. Okay. So, I mean, just no one really open. The 2 tight ends both stay into block. There, look, 3rd and 15. We know the Ravens love blitzing. Look how many guys have got at the line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 right there. Who's coming? Who's not? Well, the Ravens, they bring 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let's go from right to left. Matthew Judon versus Jack Conklin. Judon's going to... Ooh, he had him inside. And Wyatt Teller, who is helping to double team Derek Wolfe with J.C. Treader, he just puts a shoulder in to help stop Judon. Now, Wolfe actually is able to use this as a stunt and get around him. This is not designed. But nothing really there. Now, so now you've got here Jihad Ward lined up in that B gap, not where you'll see a linebacker, an outside linebacker lined up, but that's what he does here. He's going against Jedrick Wills. So, because Bitonio is just waiting for something to come up the middle. Nothing's coming up the middle, so he's just waiting there. Look at Bitonio saying, okay, I'm doing my job, but no one's coming here. This is because Baker Mayfield, he thinks someone's coming up the middle, and they misplay this. And this is an issue when facing this Ravens defense. You've got guys blocking no one, and then others trying to block two guys at once. So you'll see Wills. He does a decent job of handling Ward. Ward gets free, though, at the end, because Wills thinks this play's got to be over by now, right? He's just trying to pass him off. He's saying, well, I can let him go now. Wills is just still waiting, kind of. He's now... You just see... right here. Wills and Ward just still working, and then Ward following. He sees Mayfield's got an alley has got this huge hole to run, so he comes back over to the middle. Mayfield sees him. He's like, oh no, I got to get outside now, and now it's just a leg race. And Ward runs by Willis, runs by Bitonio. Harrison Bryant throws a nice block on Jimmy Smith right there. And that helps Matthew Judon make the stop. Let's watch Matthew Judon's entire play here. Matthew Judon right there. Right. And where is Judon actually? Right, Judon was forced to inside. I forgot about that. And then he just takes off similar to Jihad Ward. Now let's take a look here at Yannick Ngakoue and Chris Board. Yannick Ngakoue is going to take both tight ends. Board's going to stunt around and he comes free. And this Board is the guy who makes Mayfield leave this pocket. Ngakoue kind of goes a little bit. Ngakoue got away from Njoku at the end. The issue is he got away to the wrong side. That opens it up. So Jimmy Smith coming up. Harrison Bryant laying the block on him. Let's take a look at Chuck Clark here. See Chuck Clark right in the middle of that field. He's going to go right. And then again, that opens up a nice hole to run. And again, Ngakoue helping to open that as well. Both safeties, Clark lining up in that middle linebacker spot, and then dropping, Elliott dropping, both going to the right side where Mayfield is looking all day because he's got no one on the left side. Jimmy Smith's just standing there. And lucky he was, because otherwise, if Jimmy Smith isn't there and Brian can throw a block here on these linebackers, Mayfield's got a chance to take this down to the 10-yard line. So we'll bring up a 4th down and 8 for the Browns. Browns are going to come to the line of scrimmage with like 10 seconds left in the 4th quarter. And they fake the hard count, fake their snapping the ball. No one jumps for the Ravens. And the Browns let the quarter end, facing a 4th down and 8, tied up 7 apiece in Cleveland. Ball at the Ravens' 21-yard line off of a 7-yard run from Baker Mayfield. 4th and 8, what do you do? Flags, so they're going to go for the field goal try after going for a 4th and 4 earlier on the drive. And to start the 2nd quarter here, let's take a look at this field goal try. Cody Parkey, the kicker. Jamie Gillen is holding. Charlie Hewitt, the snapper. The kick is up. Let's watch this referee. It is watching a referee to get the signal. I don't know if he's going to... No good. Parkey misses it. Let's take a look. Flags are limp here. They're kind of blowing a little bit from left to right, but he just aims it wrong. He started on the left hash, and this ball just trickles left just a little bit. This is from the right hash. It's good. It's from the middle. It's good. It's not. It's from the right hash. He aims it just a little bit off. The wind was probably even helping him a little bit, which is going from right to left. So missing a field goal, you cannot leave. It was a 39-yard attempt. You cannot leave points on the board in this game. The Browns will find out later on. So this is a mistake for them. Ravens going to have to try to take advantage as they get the ball back, tied 7 apiece. Their 2nd drive of the game. Lamar Jackson starting in the shotgun. Gus Edwards to his right. Tight end right, Mark Andrews. 3 wide receivers left. Now brings Snead across the formation from left to right. Play action. Quick pass to Snead is dropped. Or is it a low ball? We'll take a look. Coming to motion is Snead. And no one follows. So what does Lamar know? It's zone. So if you know it's zone... Look how far back Kevin Johnson is, who's responsible for this short zone. Lamar knows that. So he's going to say, I want to just throw this ball. Let's take a look at the throw. So now this is just a low throw. It's just going to bounce in there. Well, Snead tried. Lamar Jackson does not make a good throw. Let's take a look at Jackson's mechanics. Jackson struggles throwing to the outside. And this one is... This throw just needs to be a little bit, needs to be higher. Let's take a look at the other route concepts quickly here. Mark Andrews, he's just cutting back wide open as well, but Jackson's not looking there. And don't really know what these two guys are doing on the left side. Not enough time. This is a very quick release here by Lamar Jackson. Okay. Let's take a look at this defensive line. 4-man rush. So Ravens. I don't know what they're thinking here. play action. By the way, this is designed pass all the way. This is not the RPO. This is just design pass. Because if it's the RPO, linebacker, I would. This is regardless. I think this is a design pass. I don't think it's the RPO. So Tyree Phillips and Ben Powers, they're gonna go double team number 98 Sheldon Richardson, and this just lets Olivier Vernon just walk in. I don't know what he thinks it's initially a run, and this is what saves Lamar Jackson, because he's playing the run. Watch him. He's playing the run. He's playing the run. Oh, now I realize. And then he tries to start getting after the quarterback. It's a little bit too late. Ravens double teaming Makari and Bozeman double teaming Larry Ogunjobi, and then Myles Garrett one-on-one versus Orlando Brown. Garrett gets free. This is just a very quick pass concept. Surprising that they let Olivier Vernon come free. This has got to be a miscue on the line of scrimmage somewhere. You just don't let him come free. He wasn't shipped. Gus Edwards wasn't there to block. I don't get that. I just don't. There's no reason Olivier Vernon should be coming free. But yet, that is what happened. That is what happens on this play. And so that'll put the Ravens into a 2nd down and 10. Watch it one more time. Low throw from Lamar Jackson. Zone coverage from the Browns, keeping their eyes on Lamar Jackson. They don't want him to be able to run. Well, no running this time. And let's take a look one more time. Nope. Pass is low. Ravens now in a 2nd down and 10. Let's take a look at this play. Jackson shotgun back to his left as Edwards trips bunched into the right. He's got Boykin left. Jackson's going to try to take off and a run. And he's going to lose 2 yards on the play. Olivier Vernon on the sack. Watch it one more time, this time from the back angle. Jackson waiting, and nothing doing. We'll take a look at the pocket momentarily. Let's just take a look at these route concepts. Everyone is open. Here are the route concepts. You've got Snead going to go like this. Hollywood just looks like he wants to go down the field. Andrews is going to cut over, and Boykin's just going to get in front of Lamar Jackson's face. Everyone's open. Look at this. Every single player is open. Lamar could have thrown the ball here. Andrews not yet. Actually, that's where he's initially looking. Could have put the ball there to Boykin. He could have thrown right here to Snead. I think he's looking at Andrews though. Andrews is open right here. If Lamar throws the maybe not. So maybe Andrews is not open actually. Andrews is not open. Everyone else is though. Lamar watches eyes. He's looking this middle of the field. He keeps the safety. He's looking at the safety right there. Now it was like, okay, I want Mark Andrews, but that's where he's looking for, but he's just not open. At this point, though, Lamar Jackson's already starting to have to take off and run in the pocket. So I had trouble deciding this when I was looking at this play earlier. Is Lamar Jackson looking at 56 or the safety 29? If he's looking at the linebacker, the linebacker's the guy who took away he's trying to take away the drag. I've got to think he's looking down the field. See, I feel like right here, because of when I said Andrews is open, right, if he puts the ball right there, because of the way Malcolm Smith is turned, I think Andrews makes that catch. Maybe put the ball even right here, make Andrews come into the ball. I do think everyone's open on this play. But Lamar Jackson, he does not have time in the pocket. This is is this the Jackson play action here to Edwards? Olivier Vernon working on Tyree Phillips one-on-one. They block Vernon this time here on the right side of the line of scrimmage. And Vernon is just going to beat him around the edge. And he comes free at Lamar Jackson. He forces Jackson to step up. Jackson's saying, okay, where do I run? I see a big hole there. I kind of see an area there to run, and I look at all this grass in front of him. There's so much space. but Lamar Jackson doesn't have the space to work with. Browns do a good job of staying decent gap discipline, not great. Myles Garrett here working on Orlando Brown on the left side. Ooh, there's a hit to the face from Orlando Brown. Ravens probably lucky that didn't get called. So right here, watch Myles Garrett's swim move. He's going to look at this right here. Swim past Orlando Brown, gets free as well. Ben Powers actually does a nice job with Sheldon Richardson, and Ogunjobi doesn't do much initially. Bozeman is just saying, okay, what do I do? So he helps out with Myles Garrett at the end. At this point, though, Lamar Jackson, he sees a Vernon coming, trying to step up in the pocket. Bad blocking by the edges, and he's just going to spin forward for a loss of 2. Now, here's what Lamar Jackson probably needs to do. First off, he's looking at Andrews way too long. He's got to see Andrews isn't open and then just make a decision. Indecisiveness here. Lamar Jackson, he sees the pressure's coming. Something called a check down right here. You put the ball right here, somewhere in this circle. S. Edwards goes and catches the ball, and you get some yardage. He doesn't, though. It's not what Lamar does. And that's probably what he should do. Edwards was slowed down leaving the pocket by Vernon on the edge. If you just watch Gus Edwards right here. I'll play it. He has to take a little bit of a wider angle. Instead of being able to, he has to run like this instead of like this because Vernon was in his way. So that did slow him down as well. But Lamar's just got to check it down. This is interesting coverage here by the Browns. Let's take it a step back and talk about this coverage because this is cover 3 high. It's second down and 10. So you've got, oh, that's a bad circle. Let's try this. You got a guy in the middle of the field here, a guy right there, and a guy right there. This is zone coverage. These 3 guys are just watching Lamar Jackson. That's the first step of this coverage. And then you've got, and the defenders are backpedaling as well. You've got it looks like a zone right there, a zone right there, a zone right. Nope, that's a bad one. And a zone right there, and a zone there. This is just zone coverage, plain and simple. And there are a bunch of guys who find soft spots in the zone. The issue is Lamar Jackson looks at the one guy who really doesn't find a soft spot. Now I'm telling you, Lamar Jackson had him. If Lamar puts the ball right there, right at him, makes him stop running, and actually makes him come in a little bit. Lamar Jackson's got Mark Andrews. He's also got Miles Boykin in front of his face. He's got 2 options to check the ball down, whether that's at Boykin or at Edwards, but he doesn't. And that hurts the Ravens big time because instead of picking up 4 or 5 yards, making it a 3rd down and very manageable, well, now you're going to be in a 3rd down and 12. And we're going to watch this one more time. I'm just intrigued that the Browns went into a deep zone because you've got this whole myth, and it is a myth that Lamar Jackson's not a deep ball passer. But you see here the Browns, all they're respecting is the deep ball. They're more than happy to give the dink and dunk right over the dinks and dunks because, again, Willie Snead, if you put the ball right here, he's open. If you Hollywood Brown, you're going to be putting the ball down here. Probably want to that needs a couple more seconds to develop. But I think he does get open on that because the safety is probably going to be going up to Mark Andrews. And then it's just Kevin Johnson and Hollywood Brown. I like Hollywood's chances, so we can get rid of that arrow. So many options for Lamar Jackson. And they were just respecting the deep ball. But again, Lamar puts this ball right here to Willie Snead. He's got a pickup of 10 yards and 12 yards on the 1st down. A lot of opportunities here for the Ravens. But they do not take advantage. So, after I do that weird thing, which I'm not sure what happened, let's wipe the screen and watch this play one last time before moving forward. Trips bunched into the right, Jackson play action, looking Andrews the entire way. We're looking at the deep safety the entire way, trying to freeze the deep safety. Doesn't really work. The deep safety is just there. Malcolm Smith linebacker right here. He's just going to backpedal the whole way. Once he sees what's happening, once he sees where Lamar Jackson's looking, he's looking behind him, so that's where he starts going. Takes away Mark Andrews underneath. Good job by Malcolm Smith with the read. And that'll bring up 3rd down and 12, not 3rd and 11. No, they just switched it. Nice of them. Going wide here. 4 to the right, 1 left. Jackson slips. Flag flies. Whole bunch of stuff going on right here. See a flag right there. You can even see it being thrown by the official. Now, 4 wide. So we talked a little bit about this here. Ravens going 1 running back, 1 tight ends. Let's see if I can find where the running back is. Maybe not. I see the tight end. There's the running back, Justice Hill. There's Mark Andrews. So 3rd down back is in, and Lamar Jackson's just going to take a sack here. And let's take a look at this defensive line right off the bat, where you're going to have maybe Olivier Vernon working on that left side. Maybe that's 51. A little bit tough to tell right now. That's 94. That is Adrian Claiborne working against Orlando Brown. He's going to come inside, and then Olivier Vernon is going to come outside. So Claiborne goes in, and Vernon's going to loop around. This is the stunt we talked about previously in this series. And Vernon comes free at Lamar Jackson. And right here, look at Lamar Jackson just lose his footing over and over again. At this point, they're in trouble because Sheldon Richardson, it's a double stunt here. You're going to have Myles Garrett, this time on the right side of the line of scrimmage. Garrett, so I'll draw this entire thing out. Garrett goes in. Richardson comes around. Claiborne goes in, and look where Vernon's coming from to come all the way around. And both of these stunts work. Ravens get fooled on that offensive line. Garrett just runs right into between Phillips and Powers, takes both of them out. So Richardson comes free, and then Orlando Brown he's passing off Adrian Claiborne to Bradley Bozeman, at which point he's beat around the edge by Olivier Vernon. But he actually look at this job done by Orlando Brown and say, okay, you beat me, but I'm going to still fight. And he actually does a good job recovering. But Richardson is there to make the sack. Let's take a look at his route concepts. Okay. Double comebacks, double slants, and deep ball. All right, got it. So, come back. And then Andrews is just going to get down the field. That's the route concept. Now, there are a couple of man beaters here. There are a couple of zone beaters here. This happens to be zone coverage. You can see by their hips. So let's just start this play. See the receivers running down my lines. Actually, rather nicely. Okay, so Andrews goes more over the middle before he does it. But look at this. Everyone's open. Even Boykin right here, because you're going to watch Boykin cut back here on this curl. He's open. Hollywood Brown's wide open. The 2 guys underneath, Hill and Snead, are open. Andrews right here. He's open. Mark can just put the ball right there. And that's going to be a big play, maybe even all the way. Maybe you even put the ball right there. There are a bunch of places Lamar can put the ball, because you got a deep safety here, so I'm not really sure exactly where you perfectly want to put it, but a bunch of options. Everyone's open, but the pocket collapses. If you take a look at Lamar Jackson's eyes, he's looking at Malcolm Smith right here. I mean, look how open Andrews is right off the bat. If Lamar just zips it in. You need 12 yards. Can he pick up 12 yards? 12 yards would actually be 12 yards is probably right around there. Right around. Maybe I'm messing it up just a little bit. I mean, there's 10 right there. Ball is on the 27. Now 12 yards is actually right there. So I'll get rid of this line. So I mean, if Lamar goes to Mark Andrews right away, he's got the first down. He's close to a first down. Everyone is open. But Lamar Jackson, he looks away Malcolm Smith, so he does a very good job right there. but then he's forced back. Then he's forced backwards, and then the pass rush pressure is coming. He takes his eyes away from downfield, and he slips, and it's over. If he keeps upright, I think he might be able to beat Richardson to the outside. Maybe he gets past Vernon to the outside. He's got a bunch of options. Maybe he tries to run up the middle. I don't know. I do know is I see some daylight for Lamar Jackson. He could throw. He can run it. Instead, he goes down. Tyre Phillips never sees Sheldon Richardson come around there. Even if Lamar Jackson goes to Justice Hill, he's got Mark Andrews in front to block. Like, there's a lot of room for a big play. So there's a penalty here at the beginning of this play. Let's get rid of the line. You saw the flag fly in. There's an illegal shift here on Miles Boykin, top of your screen. And let's see if we can figure out why. So he's moving at the time of the snap. See how he's not 100% set? I think that's probably it. Actually, that might not be. What might the other option? Other option would be that they've got 3 guys within 1 yard. So an interesting piece of the Ravens, the NFL's formation rules is you've got to have 7 guys with 7 offensive players within 1 yard of the line of scrimmage. So you see Mark Andrews is right at the line of scrimmage. Boykin is 1 yard also. It could be Snead is also. It could be that's the issue. The other issue is he might not be set before the play. Look how he keeps on shifting here. Maybe they say, right here when they, I guess right here, if I watch the offensive line, see if we can figure out exactly when. Right here, his hand's moving. Is Boykin set? No, Boykin's not set. That's probably the penalty right there. But let's watch this play one more time. And a sack there for 8 yards, bring up a 4th down and 19 officially. And that will bring on the punting unit for Baltimore. So after a missed field goal by the Browns, Ravens unable to take advantage, and here comes Sam Cook on to punt it away for the first time today. His first punt of the game. Cook is back. One-on-ones on the outside on the Gunners. We'll take a little bit of a look at this play. And Devontae Harris, that's Donovan Peoples-Jones back there. It's a punt return for the Browns. High punt. Right there, Devontae Harris forces a fair catch at the Cleveland 35-yard line, a 46-yard punt. So we can just take a look here at the pressure momentarily. We'll take a look at this play. I am going to break it down. Cook waiting for the snap, waiting. Here comes the snap. A little bit of pressure there from Tavier Thomas. Take another look. But it's Devontae Harris who's going to force Peoples-Jones to make the catch. As long as he doesn't touch Peoples-Jones, it's legal. Peoples-Jones asks if he touches him. He does not, though. As you can see right here, he just goes around him. That's a pretty good job. So let's take a look right here at this pressure. Oh, let's go from this angle. On the pressure from Sam Cook, Tavier Thomas right there. Let's just watch him come. He's going to come. Malik Harrison, it's really Anthony Levine's response. Harrison goes right to block number 52, Elijah Lee. And that's going to leave Anthony Levine Sr. the job of blocking Tavier Thomas. And he does well enough to get it done. So, and then we can just, if you watch the outside here, Devontae Harris. Watch Devontae Harris get down the field. I'm going to move my mouse so that hopefully it's going to let it go the whole way. Okay, here's the snap. He's going to get the outside release. He's just going to race down the field, outruns his blocker, forces a fair catch. Let's watch this one last time before ending this video. The Browns will be taking over the 35-yard line. A little under 14 minutes to go in the first half in Cleveland, tied up at 7 apiece. High punt, 46-yard, fair catch. And it is Browns ball. After they come short on the field, they're on the Browns drive though. It wasn't about the Browns; it was about the Ravens giving them a lot of yardage. That was really the last video though. One last time, pressure by Thomas, Clark and Hill racing down the field. Also, look at Tyus Bowser; they're coming free. Good job there by the Ravens, and a great job by you. If you've not done so already, check out the other episodes in this series, which you can check out on YouTube or Sportscaster. If you're watching the live stream, well, then it should be out tomorrow. The next video should be out tomorrow. Please make sure to check out my podcast, Sports with Yosef. It's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Sports with Yosef. Check out all of my articles. Tackler, Flurry, Sports Rock, University, Sportscaster News. It's a lot of content. I made it easy for you by creating a website, yosefm613.com, where you can subscribe and get email updates every time I post new content. yosefm613.com, YOSEFM613. If you're on Twitter, if you could give me a follow at YosefM613, that would be much appreciated. Okay, so the Browns, they go down the field. Cody Parkey misses a 39-yard field goal. Ravens get the ball back. A couple of slips by Lamar Jackson, a bad throw. And just like that, Ravens will be punted away to Cleveland. And it'll be Cleveland ball when we get back next episode. Episode 7 coming up next. Browns got the ball tied up 7 apiece. Their third drive of the game. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.